Welcome to Mind Set in Stone podcasts, where we dive deep into the most compelling books on the shelf. Join hosts Dave and Poppy as they uncover the stories, themes, and ideas that shape our understanding and inspire curiosity. Get ready to explore the big ideas that leave a lasting impact. Let's get started.
Ever, kind of stuck? Your brain just defaults to negativity. What if you could hit, a mental reset button?
Interesting.
That's what this deep dive is all about today, with Simon Van Dyck's The Power of a Positive Mind.
Oh, okay.
We're going to unpack his strategies, see how they can actually rewire our thinking.
You know, what's interesting is Van Dyck, he doesn't just offer these vague platitudes about positive thinking.
Right.
He really digs into the psychology behind it, Argues our minds, they're like gardens.
Yep.
We can choose what we plant, what thoughts we cultivate.
I see what you mean.
And he's got this compelling analogy. Imagine your mind making decisions. It's like a voting system.
I love that.
Yeah.
So every choice we make, big or small, it's like casting a vote for the kind of life we want to create.
Exactly.
It makes you realize how much power we actually have in shaping our own reality.
Yeah. And Van Dyck, he really emphasizes the influence of our subconscious, which we don't often tap into, right? He argues by understanding how it works, we can actually reprogram those deeply ingrained thought patterns.
It's almost like we have this incredible internal computer, but most of us, we're just using the basic software.
Right.
Van Dyck saying, hey, let's unlock those advanced features.
Yeah.
One thing he really digs into is self-discipline.
Okay.
Which, I'll be honest, I struggle with that.
Sure.
He says is often more important than natural talent.
It's fascinating how he connects self-discipline to success, very concretely.
Yeah.
He says talent without discipline, it's like a seed without water. It'll never reach its full potential. And he doesn't just leave us hanging with the analogy. He offers 10 practical ways to cultivate discipline.
It's that combination of insightful concepts and then actionable advice.
Right.
That makes this book so interesting.
Yeah.
For example, he talks about journaling.
Okay.
As a way to, boost your self-discipline.
And this is where it gets really interesting. He doesn't just say, write in a journal,
Right.
He talks about using it to track your progress, acknowledge your mistakes, identify patterns in how you behave.
Yeah.
He argues consistent self-reflection, it's like holding up a mirror
Right.
to your habits and choices.
Makes total sense, right?
Yeah.
It's not about beating yourself up for messing up, but using those experiences as opportunities to learn.
Absolutely.
And that kind of ties into another point that Van Dyck makes about sacrifices.
Oh, yeah.
But he's not talking about these huge life-altering sacrifices.
Well,
He's talking about recognizing those small self-imposed limitations that we don't even realize are holding us back.
Interesting.
It's about making conscious choices to break free from those constraints.
Can you give an example?
He gives the example of spending time alone,
Okay.
which some people might resist, but he frames it as essential for boosting self-discipline.
He argues that solitude can be so powerful, for self-reflection and just getting that clarity.
Yeah.
It's a chance to connect with yourself, your goals, no distractions.
It's about quieting that noise of the outside world.
Yeah.
So we can actually hear our own inner wisdom.
Exactly. It's in those quiet moments we can often tap into, our deepest desires or motivations.
This leads us to, another crucial part of Van Dyck's whole approach.
Okay.
The power of a positive mindset.
Right.
But this is important. He doesn't just say, think positive.
Right.
He argues that negativity, it's like a poison. It can seep into every area of your life, work, relationships, your well-being.
And what I find fascinating is he doesn't advocate for just ignoring all your problems and being positive. He acknowledges life is tough, it's full of challenges, but it's about choosing to see those challenges as opportunities to grow from.
And he doesn't stop there. He talks about the importance of who you surround yourself with.
Okay.
Positive influences.
Yeah.
He compares it to creating a garden. We need to be mindful of the soil, the sunlight, the other plants that are surrounding the ones we want to flourish.
It's about cultivating an environment that supports that positive mindset.
Yeah.
Whether it's, the people you hang out with, the books you read, even just the media you consume.
So it's not just about thinking happy thoughts. It's about creating a lifestyle that really nurtures that positivity.
Exactly. Van Dyck says cultivating that positive mindset, it's a long-term investment.
Definitely.
in your well-being and your happiness. He really wants readers to appreciate what they've got, embrace life's journey, and stay positive.
So it's about making a conscious choice
Yeah,
to focus on the good, trusting that our experiences will reflect that.
exactly. It's about recognizing our thoughts have power,
Right.
and we can choose to focus on the thoughts that are going to empower us, move us towards those goals.
That's really powerful. And he goes beyond just mindset. He talks about emotional intelligence
Yes.
and how that plays into all of this.
It's this idea that our emotions, they can either fuel our success, right?
Right.
Or they can really hold us back.
Yeah.
Understanding how to manage them is critical.
And get this, he even digs into the science behind positive affirmations,
Okay?
suggesting they're not just some new age mumbo jumbo.
Right.
Right.
He explains that affirmations can actually rewire those deeply rooted pathways in your brain, replacing those negative beliefs with empowering ones.
That's incredible. It's like literally rewiring your brain for success, one positive affirmation at a time.
It's about changing that self-talk,
Right.
replacing those self-limiting beliefs with ones that support your growth.
And he gives specific scripts for career confidence, dating, attracting prosperity. I mean, he covers a lot.
He doesn't stop there. He goes even deeper, exploring practices like meditation, mindfulness.
Okay, so he's really advocating for this holistic approach.
I appreciate that about his approach. It's not just thinking positive thoughts, you know?
Yeah.
It's about building a whole lifestyle that supports a positive mindset.
What's interesting is how he separates meditation and mindfulness,
Yeah.
because I think people use them interchangeably.
Right.
He describes mindfulness as a type of meditation,
It is.
but with a very specific focus.
Exactly. He says meditation, it aims to quiet the mind.
Okay.
While mindfulness is about observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment, just noticing them without getting swept away.
So it's like creating space
Yeah.
between ourselves and our thoughts so we can choose how to respond.
And he explains how being mindful can help you break free from negative thought patterns and make healthier choices.
That makes sense. When you're more aware of your thoughts, your feelings, you're less likely to be controlled by them.
Exactly. It's about becoming more conscious of that inner dialogue, interrupting those automatic negative thoughts that can, honestly, just sabotage our well-being.
And the really cool thing is he connects this to our relationships too.
Oh, interesting. How so?
He's suggesting that mindfulness can actually help us show up more authentically, be more present with the people we care about.
Absolutely. When you're more present, more aware of your own emotions, you can be more authentic in how you interact with others.
So it's not just about like feeling better.
Right.
It's about connecting with others on a much deeper level.
Exactly. It's about bringing more intention, to every part of your life.
And he even links mindfulness to cognitive behavioral therapy.
It makes sense. CBT often focuses on identifying and changing negative thought patterns.
Right.
Van Dyck suggests that affirmations can be really powerful in that process, helping to rewire those subconscious beliefs.
It's not just about repeating positive phrases.
Right.
It's about using them to challenge and reframe those deeply ingrained negative beliefs.
And he emphasizes, consistency is key here. It's
Yeah.
like working a muscle. The more you use those positive affirmations,
The stronger those neural pathways become.
Exactly.
He even suggests incorporating physical movements or visualizations
Oh, wow.
to amplify the effects of the affirmation.
Which can make them even more powerful. Engaging multiple senses can really help solidify those positive beliefs in your mind.
It's like creating a full body experience for your mind to really absorb those positive messages.
Exactly. He provides a really detailed guide, actually, on how to create and use affirmations well.
Okay.
And they can be applied to anything, career, relationships, even just boosting your own self-esteem.
It's about identifying those areas where we tend to struggle with that negative self-talk
Right.
and using affirmations to challenge and reframe those beliefs. He also talks about this, it's really interesting, a winning mentality.
I like that. What does he mean by that?
It's about approaching, cultivating a mindset that embraces challenges,
Okay.
focuses on solutions, and stays positive, even when things are tough.
It's like developing that inner resilience.
Right.
That helps you bounce back.
And he breaks it down into these concrete strategies, like starting your day with positivity
Okay.
and focusing on, he says, at least 4 good things that happened.
It's about making that conscious choice to focus on what's right, what you have.
I love that he suggests doing something positive for others every day, too.
It's like creating that ripple effect of positivity, right? Both within yourself and then outwards.
So it's not just about feeling good yourself.
Right.
It's about spreading that to other people.
Exactly. It's recognizing we're all interconnected. Our actions, even small ones, they matter.
He also talks about the importance of, like, appreciating yourself.
Yeah.
And staying motivated, which can be really hard.
It can.
Especially when you're facing obstacles or setbacks.
Those are definitely key to having that winning mentality. Recognizing your worth, staying focused on your goals, even when it's tough.
He even delves into the importance of body language, which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting. What's the connection there?
He's highlighting how your physical presence and your mental state are connected.
Oh, yeah.
Like your posture, appearance, even your clothes, they can influence how you think and how you feel.
So it's like your body language is sending signals to your brain.
Right.
And those signals, they can either support or, work against this positive mindset.
He talks about how even small adjustments, like standing up straighter, making eye contact,
Yeah.
can make you feel more confident, more in control.
It's like projecting that confidence, even if you don't feel it at first.
And he also stresses gratitude, looking for solutions instead of dwelling on the problems.
Those are such valuable habits. Gratitude helps you focus on the good, and being solution-oriented, that empowers you to take action.
So it's about changing how we see things.
Yeah.
From what's wrong to what's possible.
Exactly. Recognizing you have the power to choose how you respond, even in those tough situations.
And I like how Van Dyck gives very specific ways to make those changes. He doesn't just talk about it, he gives you the tools.
It's about taking action, right? Exactly. Putting it into practice.
He even talks about the importance of living in the moment.
Which is so hard nowadays.
It is, with how fast-paced everything is.
It's about being present, engaged in your life, not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future.
Van Dyck suggests that being aware in the moment, it can help you appreciate those good things you have in your life.
It's about savoring those little joys that we might miss otherwise.
So it's about finding those moments of peace, even in our busy, crazy lives.
And you don't have to wait for something huge to happen to feel happy.
Right.
It's about finding those moments of joy every day.
Appreciating those little things.
Exactly.
A good cup of coffee, a sunny day. Those little moments add up over time.
They do. And they help you keep that positive outlook, even when things are challenging.
Van Dyck, he gives us these really interesting insights into, like, the habits of people who are positive.
It's like getting a peek inside their minds, right?
Yeah.
Seeing how they approach life with more joy, more ease.
He talks about how they embrace what they know. They don't obsess over negativity.
Right.
And they always try to find something good in every situation.
Yeah. It's a choice to focus on the positive, even when faced with challenges. And it's not about ignoring the problems.
Right.
It's about approaching them in a way that's focused on finding solutions.
Like they've got this, like, inner radar,
Yeah.
for spotting the silver lining.
Yeah.
Even when things are tough.
Exactly. And he's really clear. It's not about being naive or pretending the problems aren't there. It's about tackling them head on, but with a positive, like, let's find a solution kind of mindset.
And he points out something I found really interesting. These positive people, they seem to love learning new things, always trying to improve themselves. Like they see challenges as a chance to level up,
I love that. It's that idea that we never stop growing. There's always something new to learn, to discover. Approaching life with that curiosity, it's powerful.
And he talks about how that connects to being authentic, being yourself. These positive folks, they seem comfortable in their own skin, expressing their thoughts and feelings openly.
That's so important. Embracing who you truly are, flaws and all, and showing up with that confidence, that integrity, it's magnetic.
And you know what's really inspiring? Van Dyck reminds us, these positive people, they're not perfect.
Right.
They have challenges, setbacks, just like everyone else.
Life happens, right?
Exactly. It's how they choose to react that makes all the difference.
It's resilience. It's bouncing back, maybe even stronger with that positive outlook, seeing those challenges as opportunities, not defeats.
He also talks about something that really hit home for me, the impact these positive people have on others. It's like their positivity, it rubs off, it lifts people up, inspires them.
It's contagious, that ripple effect, right?
Yep.
When you choose that positive mindset, it benefits you, but it also spreads out to everyone you touch.
So it's bigger than just us.
Exactly. He reminds us that even the smallest acts of kindness can make a huge difference. A smile, a compliment, offering a helping hand. They seem small, but they can change someone's whole day. And that spreads outwards.
That's a good reminder. We forget how powerful those small gestures can be.
Absolutely. And Van Dyck, he gives us these really practical ways to cultivate those positive habits, like really focus on what's good, express gratitude, surround yourself with those positive influences.
Simple things, but so powerful when you actually do them.
Exactly. And taking care of yourself, making time for things that nourish your mind, body, and soul, that's huge.
She's saying you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right. Taking care of yourself, it's not selfish, it's essential. You can't be there for others, for your goals, if you're running on empty.
So building a life that supports that well-being across the board.
Exactly. Setting those healthy boundaries, making your needs a priority and having fun connecting with people.
Speaking of boundaries, Van Dyck also talks about facing your fears, getting outside that comfort zone.
Which can be scary.
Totally.
But he makes the point that those are often the moments where we grow the most, pushing past those limits.
He's encouraging us to embrace those challenges, see them as opportunities to learn, to expand. We're capable of so much more than we think.
He says one way to approach those scary situations is to focus on what you can control, right? And then break down those big goals into smaller steps.
Instead of looking at the whole mountain, focus on putting one foot in front of the other.
Exactly. And he reminds us it's okay to ask for help along the way. You don't have to do it all alone.
So knowing your strengths, but also knowing when you need support.
Exactly. Building that inner strength, but also having the wisdom to seek guidance when you need it. We talked earlier about how Van Dyck compares our minds to gardens. Well, he also dives into this idea of the anatomy of a positive mindset. It's like he's giving us a map.
Okay, so what are some of the key landmarks on this map to a positive mind?
Well, he starts by highlighting how powerful our thoughts really are. They literally shape our reality. He's saying these thoughts, they're not just fleeting things, they have a real impact.
He's talking about how those thoughts can affect our emotions, our actions, even our physical health.
The mind-body connection, that's huge. Our mental state directly affects our well-being. He even talks about how being stressed all the time, being negative, can actually make us physically sick.
That's a powerful reminder to pay attention to what's going on in our heads.
Absolutely. It's not just happening in a vacuum. And the good news is we're not powerless. Van Dyck says we have a choice. We can focus on those thoughts that empower us instead of the ones that hold us back.
So it's about taking control of that inner voice.
Exactly. And he says start by just noticing those negative self-limiting thoughts. He even suggests keeping a thought journal for a bit to really see those patterns.
And once you see those patterns, those negative thoughts, what then?
Then you challenge them. Ask yourself, is this even true? Is this helpful? Is it based on reality or just my fears?
Question everything.
Right. And if you find those negative thoughts are just based on fear, limiting beliefs, that's when you reframe them. Find something positive, something empowering to replace them.
It's like recognizing that just because you think it doesn't make it true.
Exactly. Choose those beliefs that actually support you, that help you thrive. But it's not enough to just think it. You got to act on those positive thoughts, too.
Take action. Make it real.
Exactly. It's that bridge between thought and action where a lot of people get stuck. They have all these good intentions, but don't follow through.
And that's where that self-discipline we talked about earlier comes in.
Exactly. Having the guts to stick with those positive intentions, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it.
Van Dyck, he's giving a really empowering message here. We have so much more power than we realize to create our own reality. It's our thoughts, our choices. We are not victims of our circumstances. We get to choose.
We're the creators of our own lives. We don't have to be defined by our past or by what's happening around us. We can choose a different path, a life that lights us up.
You mentioned earlier the importance of who we surround ourselves with, those positive influences. Van Dyck talks about this in terms of building a support system for our positive mindset.
Yes, it's choosing to spend time with people who lift you higher, who inspire you. And it's also about what you let into your mind. The books you read, podcasts, social media.
You become like the people you hang out with. And I think the same goes for the information we consume.
Totally. It's like we're always absorbing the energy of those around us and the media we consume. So be picky. Who are you letting into your inner circle?
So ditch the toxic friends, but also be mindful of what you're reading, watching, listening to.
It's about surrounding yourself with people and information that feed your soul, lift your spirits, and inspire you to be your best self.
And I love that he talks about practicing gratitude. It's so easy to forget in the day-to-day.
Gratitude is powerful. It's shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have. Appreciate the good, no matter how small.
He suggests keeping a gratitude journal. Write down a few things each day.
Yeah, it could be anything. A sunny day, a good cup of coffee, a chat with someone you love.
Training our brains to see the good, the abundant.
And don't just think it, express that gratitude. Tell people how much they mean to you.
A simple thank you goes a long way.
It does. Create that positive ripple. And that ties back into self-care. So important, especially these days.
Absolutely. Taking care of yourself so you can take care of everything else.
Right. He talks about making time for things that energize you, that bring you joy, whether it's exercise, meditation, nature, being creative.
It's different for everyone.
Exactly. Figure out what makes you feel alive and do more of that. Make it a non-negotiable.
Because ultimately, taking care of yourself, it's not selfish, it's essential.
Exactly. You are worthy of care. Prioritizing your needs, that's not indulgent. It's the foundation for a happy life. And part of that is setting goals.
Van Dyck, he's a big believer in the power of setting goals, isn't he?
Absolutely. He sees it as crucial for success, for feeling fulfilled, and he's got a very clear process for setting and achieving those goals.
Okay, so break it down for us. What are the key things he emphasizes?
He starts by saying, choose goals that you actually care about, goals that light you up.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're not passionate about it, it's going to be hard to stay motivated.
Exactly. Find those goals that excite you, that you're willing to fight for.
And I love how he talks about connecting those goals to your values. If they're not aligned, it's not going to be as meaningful.
Right. He says, take some time to think about your values. What's truly important to you? What kind of mark do you want to make on the world?
So use those values as your compass when you're setting goals.
Exactly. It gives you that sense of purpose, that fire in your belly, even when things get tough.
And he also talks about the importance of writing down your goals and telling other people about them.
It's powerful. You're taking it from a thought to something real.
Like you're making a commitment to yourself and to the people you tell.
It's about accountability, right? You're more likely to follow through when you know others are rooting for you.
Van Dyck's a big fan of SMART goals too, isn't he?
Yes, that's a cornerstone of his approach. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound.
Okay, break that down for us. What does each of those actually mean?
So specific, your goal has to be crystal clear. No vagueness. Like instead of, I want to be healthier, it's, I'm going to work out 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time.
No wiggle room there.
Exactly. Measurable means you can track your progress. You need a way to quantify it, whether that's numbers, milestones, whatever works.
Like, I want to lose 10 pounds or I'm going to run a 5K.
Exactly. Then attainable, be realistic. The goal should be challenging, but it has to be doable with what you've got where you are right now.
Don't set yourself up for failure right out of the gate.
Right. And then relevant, does this goal matter to you? Is it moving you towards the life you want to create?
We don't want to waste time on things that don't truly matter.
Exactly. And lastly, time-bound deadlines. Give yourself a target date. It creates urgency, helps you stay on track.
Otherwise, it's just a vague idea floating out there in the future.
Right. Deadlines make it real, hold you accountable.
That's a great system. I can see how using those SMART goals would make a huge difference.
Absolutely. It's like you're setting yourself up for success from the very beginning. And he doesn't stop there. Van Dyck also talks about creating an action plan.
So taking those big, maybe kind of scary goals and breaking them down into smaller steps.
Exactly. Make them feel less overwhelming, more doable.
Like that mountain climbing analogy again, one step at a time.
Exactly. And build those action steps into your daily routine. Consistency is key.
Make it part of your life, not just something you think about every once in a while.
Right. And through it all, keep that positive attitude. He's big on reminding us that our thoughts, they can help us or sabotage us. Believe you can achieve it, and you're much more likely to actually do it.
It's that whole mindset thing again. Believe in yourself.
Exactly. And remember, setbacks happen. They're inevitable. It's all about how you view them, not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and grow.
That growth mindset in action. Embrace the challenges.
And check your progress along the way. Are you on track? Do you need to adjust your plan? It's not about being rigid. It's about being flexible and adapting as you go.
So goal setting, it's not just about the destination. It's about the journey.
Exactly. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, one goal at a time. And that journey often requires us to take a closer look at how our minds work, which leads us to another key aspect of Van Dyck's book, his insights into thinking and decision-making.
Understanding those thought processes.
Yes, it's about recognizing the power of our thoughts and how they shape our reality.
He's really big on that mind-body connection.
Yeah.
Our thoughts influencing our emotions, our actions, our health.
Exactly. Our thoughts have a huge impact on our overall happiness or well-being. He even talks about how chronic stress, negativity, can actually manifest as physical symptoms.
It's like our bodies are always listening to our thoughts, even if we're not aware of it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so crucial to become aware of our thought patterns and to challenge the ones that are not serving us.
So acknowledging those negative thoughts, but not letting them control us.
Exactly. It's about learning to manage them, choosing thoughts that empower us instead. And he offers some really concrete ways to do that.
Give us an example. How do we start to shift those negative thought patterns?
Well, he suggests starting by simply becoming more aware of your thoughts. Pay attention to that inner dialogue. Notice those negative thoughts that pop up again and again. He even suggests keeping a thought journal for a while just to see those patterns.
And once you see them, then what?
Then you challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought really true? Is it helpful? Is it based on facts or on my fears and insecurities?
Don't just accept those thoughts at face value.
Right. And if you realize those negative thoughts are based on fear, on limiting beliefs, that's when you reframe them. Find something more positive, more empowering to replace those thoughts with.
So much of this is about recognizing that our thoughts, they aren't always true. We get to choose what we believe.
Exactly. Choose the beliefs that support your well-being. But here's the thing. It's not enough to just think these positive thoughts. We have to act on them.
Put them into practice in your life.
Yes, and that's where so many people get tripped up. They've got the positive thoughts, the good intentions, but they don't take the action to back it up.
That's where that self-discipline muscle comes in again.
Exactly. Having the grit to follow through, even when it's tough, even when you'd rather just stay on the couch.
What I love about Van Dyck's message is that it's so empowering. We have way more control over our thoughts, our feelings, our lives than we often realize.
He's reminding us we are not victims of our circumstances. We have the power to choose our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions. And those choices, they shape our experiences.
We get to be the creators of our own lives. That's powerful.
It is. We don't have to be defined by our past experiences or even by what's going on around us right now. We have the power to choose a different path, to create a life that is truly aligned with our values, our passions, our vision for the future.
It's easy to forget that, Our physical health, it really affects how we think. Sometimes all you need is a good night's sleep or like a walk in the park.
It's true. And Van Dyck, he also talks about how trying new things, pushing past those comfort zones, it can help break those negative thought patterns too. It's like shaking things up in your brain, creating new connections.
He even says, try to see things from other people's perspectives, which, I'll be honest, can be hard.
Oh, it can, but it's so rewarding. It's about developing that empathy, trying to understand where people are coming from. Van Dyck says when you do that, it just opens up your whole perspective, makes you more compassionate.
That makes me think about another point he makes about, setting realistic expectations.
Oh, yeah.
We're always told, go big or go home.
Right.
But that sets us up for, disappointment, right?
Yeah.
Which just fuels that negative thinking.
Totally. Unrealistic expectations, it's a recipe for negativity. When you set the bar impossibly high, you're going to fall short. And then those feelings of self-doubt, they creep in.
He talks about celebrating those small wins, noticing how far you've come, giving yourself credit for trying, even if you haven't hit the big goal yet.
It's about progress, not perfection. Right. Be kind to yourself along the way. A lot of what we've talked about today, it's about building a good life, a fulfilling life. And Van Dyck, he actually gets really specific here too.
Okay, like what?
Well, he talks about relationships, making sure you nurture those. He even suggests couples have a regular date night, which I know it sounds obvious, but
It's easy to let that slide, right? Especially when life gets busy.
Exactly. But those connections, they're so important for a happy, fulfilling relationship. And for people who aren't in a relationship, he suggests volunteering, spending time with kids, anything that helps you connect with others.
Those are great ideas. It's about finding that connection, that sense of purpose, no matter what your relationship status is.
Absolutely. And he doesn't forget about those of us who recharge by being alone. That solitude can be so restorative.
Honoring your own needs, creating space for yourself.
Exactly. He even says personalize your surroundings. Make it a space that brings you joy, whether it's flowers, art, comfy blankets, whatever works.
So it's not all in your head.
Right.
It's about those conscious choices in your life, how you spend your time, who you're with, even how you decorate your home. It's about creating a life that supports you in every way.
Exactly. It's aligning your actions with those values, creating a life that feels real, that feels good. And that includes that sense of inner peace. That's where meditation and mindfulness come in.
He talks a lot about the benefits of both, how meditation can help you calm your mind, stress less, focus better. But I like that he separates the two, meditation and mindfulness, because I think a lot of people, they use them interchangeably.
It's easy to do. Meditation, that's like the umbrella term. And mindfulness, that's a technique you use within meditation. Van Dyck says meditation, it's about quieting the mind. And mindfulness is about observing your thoughts and feelings without that judgment.
Which is harder than it sounds, right?
Oh, yeah, that is.
Our minds are going a mile a minute. It's tough to just sit with your thoughts and not get carried away.
Totally. But it gets easier with practice. And Van Dyck says that mindful awareness, it helps you break free from those negative thought spirals and make healthier choices.
So instead of getting swept away by those thoughts, you can hit pause and choose a different path.
Exactly. And get this, he says mindfulness, it can even improve your relationships.
Really?
Yeah. When you're more present, more aware of what you're feeling, you can be more authentic with other people.
So being more present in your own life, it helps you be more present with the people you care about.
Exactly.
And I love this. He doesn't just talk about meditation and mindfulness. He gives you actual instructions for how to do them.
Yeah. Practical steps to actually use these tools.
He talks about finding a quiet place, paying attention to your breath, just noticing those thoughts and feelings without judgment.
It's about not getting attached to those thoughts. Let them come and go. He says it's like watching clouds drift by.
Such a good visual. They're not good or bad. They're just thoughts. And you don't have to buy into every single one.
Exactly. You get to decide which thoughts to focus on, which ones to let go of.
That's a really empowering way to think about it. And the best part is, you can do it anytime, anywhere. You don't need anything special. Just bring your attention to your breath, notice those thoughts and feelings, and choose how you want to respond.
He really emphasizes that even just a few minutes a day, it can make a big difference.
It's about consistency, not necessarily spending hours meditating.
Right. And it's not about reaching some state of perfect bliss where you never have a negative thought again. It's about changing how you relate to those thoughts, to those feelings.
So creating that space like we talked about earlier, so your thoughts don't control you.
Exactly. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer, and you get to decide how you want to respond.
This book, it's full of incredible insights, practical tools, all about changing your mindset, creating a life you love. What's your big takeaway? After spending so much time with the power of a positive mind.
You know, it comes back to that idea of choice. We have so much more power than we think. We can focus on the negative or the positive. We can stay stuck. Or we can create new beliefs that empower us. That power, it's all within us.
That's such a hopeful, inspiring message, and that's what makes this book so powerful. It doesn't just tell you to think positive, it shows you how. If you're ready to unlock the power of your own mind, this is the book for you. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those positive thoughts flowing.
We hope you're leaving with fresh insights and a spark of inspiration. Remember to subscribe, leave a review, and check back for more episodes as we dive into new worlds of thought, one book at a time. Until then, keep your mind set in stone and your curiosity open. This has been a Big L Riz Media podcast, where big ideas meet lasting impressions.